Happy Tuesday, YouTube. Well, today I was thinking about, how many field agents are in the marketplace that are in violation of the telephone laws that govern selling insurance. And I mean a lot of field agents that door knock. And, as I was talking to a friend of mine last week who's owned a door knocking organization for many years, Final Expense, I asked him what steps he was taking to making sure that his agents were in compliance with the law, because they're picking up the phone to make appointments. His answer to me was pretty funny, but he was serious. He told me that in their training, they have them sign a document that states that they are not allowed to pick up the phone to make appointments. They got to go out there and knock on the door. If they get in trouble, that's on them. And, that's pretty smart of him, because that's the only way to do it. Not allowing an agent to pick up the phone if he does not know the guidelines associated with the telephone business. But two things come to my mind for agents in where they're in violation on a daily basis. And that is the Tcpa violation, which every fine can be anywhere from $500 to $1,500, as well as the do not call registry violations. And each one of those violations can be upwards of $41,000 per violation. But let me break this down to you a little bit further. If you're a field agent and you're one of those agents that's drilling the phones every week, making appointments, and you don't know the birth of the lead that you have, chances are, if you pick up the phone to make an appointment and you do not know the birth date of that lead, you can be at risk of a Tcpa violation. And what is Tcpa? Tcpa is a telephone act that was passed several years ago that prohibited somebody from making a phone call to somebody that's on the do not call registry to sell them insurance, unless they requested it prior through a written form. And that's the most popular one. For example, for you field agents, if you got a direct mail piece, that is a written form of their request, so that way you can go out and visit them or call to set up the appointment. So how long does that Tcpa last on a lead? 90 days. So what that means is, if Miss Betty calls into our television commercial, that moment in time, we captured her voice recording where she verbally authorizes us to be able to call her, regardless if she's on the do not call registry or not. But that only lasts for 3 months. After 3 months, making that maybe day 91, that Tcpa opt-in is no longer valid. Meaning that if you call that lead and that phone number, that lead is on the do not call registry, and you call, not only can you be in violation of Tcpa, but as well as the do not call registry. Think about that. So if you have all these leads in your system and you're calling on leads and not even looking at the birth date to determine if they're within 90 days, and you're not checking on the do not call registry, you can be in violation. Or a better one, you're past the Tcpa timeline of 90 days, and you don't check that phone number against the do not call registry, and you go ahead and call, and the client tells you, I'm on the do not call registry, you can be in trouble with the do not call registry for violating that client's rights, regardless if you have the lead in your hand. That's not the way the law works. TCPA says has to be electronic, text message, email, or a voice recording where the client agrees to have someone call them back to discuss the possibility of an insurance policy. It's pretty scary stuff when you think about it, because I see a lot of insurance agents that are clueless of TCPA as well as DNC. So if you're watching this and maybe that's you have no clue, give me a call and we will help you get in line with not only the TCPA guidelines, but also the DNC. Because after 90 days, the opt-in or their request is no longer valid if their number's on the do not call registry. If their number's not on the do not call registry and it's past the 90-day period, then you can legally call that lead if their number is not on the do not call registry. So if you got a lead that's, let's say, 95 days old, well, when you check that lead against the do not call registry and that phone number's not on there, then you can legally make that phone call to that client and try to establish a presentation with them. But if they are on the do not call registry and you're thinking, well, they had an interest, I have the lead in my hand, and it's past that 90-day period, you will be in violation. So don't be a statistic. You know, a lot of agents get sued and fined for much less. And if you're on the phones making appointments, make sure that you know exactly what the guidelines and the law states before you get in trouble. So you guys all enjoy your Tuesday. Stay safe and see you guys at the top. Peace.